Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Proudly South African webinar for June. I am very excited to be here with you as your facilitator for today. And we're discussing something very, very important, it being Youth Month, but also how young entrepreneurs can thrive and grow and be sustainable in the digital economy. But before we get into our topic of the digital rise, exploring tech-driven opportunities for youth entrepreneurs, I would like to encourage all of you to please follow our social media platforms on X. It is at ProudlySA. On Instagram, it is proudly.sa. And on Facebook, it is Proudly South African. Share your learnings, share your experiences with everybody there. And the hashtag is buy local to create jobs. My name is Annelyn Ndlovu, and I've had the pleasure of being able to host some webinars for Proudly South African, something very close to me. I've been telling the team that I try by all means to buy local brands, whether clothing, accessories, food, and things like that. So being able to be part of um, an organization that believes in buying local to create jobs and just our sustainability is something very close to me. And we have all seen the stats in terms of youth unemployment. So having Proudly South African drive young entrepreneurs and driving sessions like this to make them um, more, what would I call it? More sustainable, to share the facts, to share information, to share resources that some people who, when they started out their businesses, did not have, but now we can have as young people to make sure that as we start out, we have this information, we have these resources, and that our businesses can thrive. Uh, for our guests who may not be members of Proudly South African and who are maybe interacting with us for the first time, just a brief about who Proudly South African is. We are an organization that was established in 2001. So we've been around. We've been around. And Pride South African was born from, a campaign by former President Nelson Mandela to encourage buying local, to encourage growing our local economy. And it was, aligned with the government's objective of combating the triple challenges that we still see to this day of poverty, inequality, and above all, unemployment, which is what today's topic also aims to alleviate, to encourage young people and their businesses, to combat unemployment. Proudly South African is a membership-based organization, so you apply to be a member. And if you go on their website or if you go on our social media platforms, you'll be able to see how you can join to be a member. You'll be able to see what the criteria is and just to get more information. And I would like to encourage everyone to take that opportunity to actually check out if you could be a member because we'll have a video that will play now, but there are many benefits, such as also these workshops that we do, these webinars that we do, but other benefits that you'll be able to see of why being a member of Proudly South African will work for you. And as an organization, we work with the public sector and we work with the private sector because you know that public-private sector partnership is very important in terms of sustainability. And we do this to promote increased levels of local procurement through supply chain structures and consumers to change their habits, of everyday store and online purchases so that we drive in the public sector and in the private sector um, in buying local, buy local to create jobs. And I would like to invite Monique to now play a video for us, which might give you a bit more information on who Proudly South African is. Thanks, Monique. Hi, Monique. Please, can you start the video again? There's no sound. Please, can you restart it? Hi, everyone. We are so sorry about that. We are going to replay the video and make sure that there is sound this time around.
There's a voice that is calling, loudly calling, day by day, the voice of the future.
When I started my business, all I wanted was to create jobs and a legacy for the next generation, because I see opportunity when others see impossibility.
It all started with a thought and then a seed in the garden, which grew into my very own farm that feeds the whole nation daily.
Cotton, silk, and a little bit of treasure, I create masterpieces that give South Africans an identity, comfort, and confidence, because when you look good, you feel good.
From the factory workers to the warehouse and then over the seas, I want to show the world what proudly South African looks like. It all started with just some ink on paper and inspiration to bring people together. With my furniture, I now help create spaces that are beautiful, comfortable, and authentic to human light and connection.
I've always been driven by curiosity. It fueled my dreams to create automobiles that accelerate our nation into greater possibilities and the beauty of the unknown.
I was born into a rainbow nation. My life has been full of colors and mixed flavors. And when I started my bakery, I wanted to share that joy with the world and with South Africans in particular.
All I ever dreamt of was to be a bird and fly high. And now I have the wings to help others fulfill their dreams of flying high too.
But it can only be a dream until you make it a reality. All they need is your faith, your trust, your loyalty, your appreciation.
And most importantly,
Your support.
because supporting local businesses
Helps create jobs
And secures our future.
South Africa, their future is in your hands. So what are you going to do about it? Be proudly South African. Buy local to create jobs.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that video. I, every time I see it, I'm always inspired, but I think today even more so as we discuss young entrepreneurs, and it has young people in the video. Before we get into our speakers, I just wanted to share more on the objective of today's webinar. It is to educate, it's to inspire South African youth entrepreneurs about the vast opportunities that there are in the digital economy. As we all know, everything is online. We all spend our time online when we look for anything. Before we even pick up the phone or we go to a store in person, we check what is online. This session will explore how youth-led businesses can tap into online platforms, digital marketing strategies, and e-commerce tools to grow their brands, reach wider audiences locally and globally, and build sustainable businesses. And by embracing the digital space, young entrepreneurs can play a key role in driving innovation, job creation, and economic growth in South Africa. Our first speaker, I'd like to introduce our first speaker. We have a great panel of speakers who will each get an opportunity to share their remarks and their highlights in running businesses, especially online. And then at the end, once all the speakers have spoken, we will open it a discussion to ask questions and share comments. So if you resonate with anything any of our speakers have said, please just write it down, note it, and then once they've all had an opportunity to share, we'll then open it to our guests to then ask the questions. Our first speaker is Richard Shokane. He is the founder and CEO of Annexi Solutions, and his topic is From Local Innovation to Global Impact, African Tech Entrepreneurs Leading the Way. And I'd like to just read his bio very briefly so you understand the work that he's done and why he is one of our speakers. Richard Shokane is the visionary founder and CEO of Annexi Solutions, a proudly South African smart technology company committed to local innovation and economic growth. A former teacher and the author of 3 internationally sold books, Richard brings a unique blend of education, leadership, and entrepreneurship to the tech industry. He has worked with leading tech manufacturing companies in China, gaining critical experiences in global production systems and smart device innovation. Richard is also a dedicated researcher and lifelong student of artificial intelligence, focused on harnessing AI to solve real African problems and build smarter communities. Through Annexi, he is on a mission to create sustainable jobs, manufacture locally, and position South Africa as a global competitor in smart technology and AI-driven solutions. Richard, we are excited to hear from you. Please take it away.
All right. Sorry about that. Good morning, guys. Good morning to the panelists. Thank you so much, Anele. I trust everyone is well in this warm weather. Well, my name is Richard Shokane. I think Anele gave away a lot of information, so I'm not going to repeat everything that Anele has said. But thank you so much for this beautiful platform. And we really appreciate a platform like Proudly South African, as South Africans. And today, you know, I think we're living in the best times now to be a South African. I think these are the greatest times to be a South African. Now, NXI, it's actually pronounced NXI, just like Wi-Fi. NXI was I think it's the first African OEM to ever take advantage of our mineral resources in South Africa. Now, let me just give you an idea of what kind of resources we have here in South Africa that we are actually neglecting and we're not taking advantage of. So first of all, let's look at platinum. Most of platinum is found in South Africa. We are the world's largest producer of platinum, and you cannot make electronics without platinum. You cannot make hard drives without platinum. And we also use platinum to fuel our cells, to fuel the smart tech cells as well. And look at chromium as well. Chromium is we have the world's largest reserves of chromium. It's critical for stainless steel that we use to build the electronic components as well. Let's look at manganese. We are the top producers of manganese in Africa. We use manganese for batteries to strengthen the steel smartphone.
Hi, Richard. Sorry to cut you. Please, can I ask our guests to please put their phone, sorry, not their phones on silent, to please mute while our speakers are speaking. And also your videos to please be off. Thank you.
Okay, can I continue? All right, I thought
Yes,
maybe
please continue.
I thought it was a signal for me to stop. Okay.
No,
All right.
I was just asking if everyone can just be on mute so that we can hear you properly and you're not interrupted.
All right. So I'm just highlighting all these minerals that we have in South Africa. I'm just talking about South Africa. I haven't touched into Congo. They produce 70% of cobalt. It comes from Congo. So in actual fact, all the smart tech devices that you see, even Apple, Huawei, Samsung, all these smart tech devices would not come to reality without Africa. So we hold all these critical minerals, but we don't know what to do with them. In actual fact, we are selling them away and we are buying them as a finished product at heavy prices. But that is not helping us at all. And that's the reason why Africa has always been developing. I remember when I was in grade 2, I was told that South Africa is a developing country. I'm now 38. It's still a developing country. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I mean, in all ways, it doesn't make sense. So it's time now for the young people to actually take charge of their own mineral resources to try and uplift the economy. And that's the reason why NXI was formed. We have branches in countries like Botswana, in Zambia, in Eswatini, and we have ambitions to expand in entire Africa. In actual fact, in a couple coming months, we'll be opening our first kiosk in Florida, in the United States. So yeah, we will be opening our first kiosk in Florida, but the interesting part about that is the fact that they will be buying everything that they'll be buying from South Africa. So meaning that we'll be having a lot of US dollars coming into South Africa. And also we have a bag manufacturing plant that we are about to complete. I think it will be completed in just before December. That bag manufacturing plant will employ over 1,000 young people. This is Youth Month. And we are inviting young people to play in this tech space, in this we want them to be active in the growth of our economy. So if you go to our website, www.nxi.com.co.za, sorry, you'll be able to see the type of bags that we'll be manufacturing in Mangaung. These are African-inspired laptop bags, unique. I think you've never seen such incredible design before. So yeah, so we own the entire R&D. We own the entire IP of our devices. We've got a phone that will be coming out very soon. We're still in discussion with the major network providers. We still in talks with MTN, in talks with Vodacom and other major network providers as well. And we are just hoping and also trying to impress South Africans to support proudly South African devices, support proudly South African businesses, not only NXI but other businesses as well. The only way we can grow as a country and as a people is if we support our own. But we don't want to just support our own for the sake of supporting our own. We want to make sure that they also give us the highest quality of products. So in NXI, all our devices come with a 4-year guarantee. 4-year guarantee, meaning that we have tested the products. They've been through rigorous processes of testing. Our R&D, it took about 7 years or 8 years in making. We are only going to the market now. It's been in past 2 years. But for the past 7 years, we've been working on the R&D to make sure that whatever we're going to get out, it's of highest quality. We've got all our engineers are from South Africa. We only have one partner from half Singaporean and half US. Both father is from US, mother from Singapore, so I always get confused of the nationality, but he chooses Singapore. So he's one of our head of engineering. But however, our full R&D team is based here in South Africa. We're talking South Africans. We believe that Africa has got the minds, has got the skill, and just needs a little bit of empowerment. We need our government to believe more in our people, to invest more in the local businesses as well. So what we produce here in NXI, we produce a variety of devices. We produce laptops, we produce smartwatches, we produce all-in-one desktops, we produce desktops as well. We produce tablets. If you go on our website, you'll be able to see what is it that we produce. So I think this is a time for us to really pride ourselves, really in our people, pride ourselves in the brand NXI. If you see anyone holding an Apple phone, if you see anyone holding an Apple phone, you must know that that person is not supporting. Somehow they will be supporting South Africa, but in a broader picture, they're not really supporting South Africa. They're supporting other countries as well. They're supporting the US, even though the device is made in China, but most of the money goes to the US. So if you really support NXI, if you support our initiative, you support our brand, you are supporting us in creating jobs. In KZN, we have a commitment with the local government in KZN. We'll be building. We've got a commitment of 1.5 hectares of land. We'll be building our first We'll be assembling one of our components in KZN. Here in Bryanston, our headquarters are here in Bryanston, in Sandton, and our R&D facility is in Midrand. We understand that we once had a cell phone that was manufactured in South Africa called Mara. Unfortunately, it didn't take off as they anticipated. So the R&D facility that we are using, we managed to get some of the automated assembling machinery. We are using some of those automated assembling machinery that they used before. And we hope that we are confident that this brand will take off. It's actually the sentiment. People love the device. Everywhere in Africa where we go, people really want to adopt the brand NXI. We've been to Ghana, we've been to Nigeria. Soon we'll be expanding in Nigeria. We'll be opening branches in Nigeria, but most of the manufacturing will be happening here in South Africa. So really, we appreciate and we want to take this opportunity to thank Proudly South African. We want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who's involved in Proudly South African. And we are saying that watch the space, more is yet to come. NXI will be leading Africa in the entire world. We also have research facilities for AI. I'm the one who's leading that department. We also have a department called NXI Genius. Now, NXI Genius, it's wherein we invite young people to come in and with whatever innovation that they have, with whatever skill and ideas that they have, that's where we now nurture them and guide them through the processes of how to actually build something that can become a reality. We are not just we are not just an OEM, but we are an OEM that cares, and we are an OEM not just for NXI, but for the entire South Africa. And we invite all South Africans to inquire and find out more about NXI, and join NXI and be part of this massive project. Because one way or another, whether we like it or not, NXI will be a global sensation, and will be the biggest thing to come in the next coming 5 years. Yes, without taking much more time, I know we were only given about 20 minutes to speak, but I want to really thank Proudly South African without being detoured. Thank you so much, Anele. I think I'll just add it right there. I'll wait for the questions to come.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I've already noted like 3 questions for you. I'll try not monopolize so that other people also have an opportunity to ask questions. But there's a lot that you said which resonated with me and I think resonated with our guests as well. Thank you, Richard. Our next speaker is and it's NXI. Thank you for that.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
NXI. Thank you. Our next speaker is Kimoso Project Manager, Kelebogile Moketsi, and he will be talking on the topic Mastering the Basics, Digital Marketing Tools Every Young Entrepreneur Should Know. And just a bit about him, Kelebogile is a dedicated project manager at Kimoso, specializing in website development and digital marketing. His journey into the tech world began with a foundation in fine arts, which gives him a unique creative lens for solving complex digital challenges. Based in Gauteng, South Africa, Kelebogile is passionate about delivering high-quality, innovative solutions and has a proven track record of servicing large companies and international clients. Guided by integrity and a commitment to community, he excels at helping clients find solutions they are truly happy with. Richard, please can I ask you to turn your video off so that we can give an opportunity for Kelebogile to join us. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you so much for that introduction. Yes, I am Kelebogile, representing Kimoso. I must say, I don't know, I think a very apt description is I'm a son of Africa. I'm a son of the soil. And over and above the skills and over and above the things that we've learned how to do, one of the things that really I'm really excited about and I'm really keen on is helping to develop this continent of ours. Thank you to Proudly SA for giving us this opportunity to share knowledge. The more that we share, the more that we can build together. I think that will really assist us in growing what we have. We have prepared a presentation that I'd just like to take you through. So thank you for joining me today. The presentation will be on Mastering the Basics, Digital Marketing Tools Every Young Entrepreneur Should Know. Today, I'll share essential tools to help you build and grow your audience online. Some of the things that we'll be covering will include building your online presence, search engine optimization, using content to engage with your audience, email marketing, social media management, automating your workflows, or as I look at it, building systems, tracking and analyzing performance. And then obviously we'll have our conclusive remarks at the end. We'll begin by going over a few concepts about digital marketing and also to introduce you to our company. Digital marketing is about promoting your products or services online to connect with customers. It is cost-effective, it is measurable, and essential for reaching today's digital audiences. We've seen, particularly from the advent of COVID-19, your company's online presence has become more and more vital as more and more people begin online when trying to learn about businesses. Kimoso is a Black-owned website development and digital marketing agency. We have been operating for over a decade in the website development and digital marketing space. Our services include website design and development, SEO, social media management, paid advertising, email marketing, and website maintenance. Our company is based in Gauteng, and we have clients both within South Africa as well as in the UK and the US. Now, there can be many aspects involved when it comes to being visible in the digital world. And amongst one of the most important is a website. Your website is your digital storefront, building credibility and serving as a hub for all marketing efforts. It's often the place where customers go to learn the most about the business. It's important that your website is mobile responsive, loads quickly, and answers any questions that a customer or client may have about your business. More people use the internet on their phones than on desktop. I think from 2016, if I'm not mistaken, it eclipsed, or even perhaps even earlier. The number of devices continues to grow. Now, outside of the traditional way of hiring a website developer, there are different tools that are available that can help you to create your business website. One of the more popular ones is called Wix. Wix offers a drag and drop interface with AI-powered features for quick website creation. While Wix also offers the ability to sell online, one of the more popular online tools for online stores is called Shopify. Shopify is ideal for e-commerce, making it easy to set up an online store. We will now look at search engine optimization, or otherwise known as SEO. SEO, or search engine optimization, helps your website rank higher on search engines like Google, driving organic traffic. One of the tools that we've earmarked is Ahrefs. It's a great tool for doing keyword research, competitor analysis, and backlink opportunities. Just to tell you a little bit more about those. Keyword research, when you think about searching online, you normally have a question or a specific set of words that you type into Google or whichever search engine you're using. Those are the keywords that we are referring to. Knowing how to insert some of those keywords into your website will help your website to be more visible when people are searching for things. As an example, a very long time ago, we decided to rank for the keywords Black Website Development Agency or Black Website Company. Fortunately for us, it paid off in a big way, because when you search for Black Website Company, after you see the advertisements, the paid ads on Google, we are normally in the top 2 or 3 of the organic results. That is the power of investing time in SEO. Competitor analysis is helpful when you want to understand who you're competing with, what they're doing, and how you can do it better. Backlink opportunities is a little bit more technical in the sense of, it's more of one of the technicalities that assist you in getting good search engine optimization. It is also helpful to understand where SEO is heading. As with 2025, there come new tools and new trends like AI-driven search, focusing on creating valuable user-centric content. You may notice that these days when you search, you have a little pop-up at the top that gives you the answer before the search results. That is what we will call AI overviews. So AI overviews provide concise answers directly within search results, and they are expanding and impacting how users interact with search, potentially reducing clicks on traditional organic results. As an agency, we also do SEO audits And we help to put together strategies that can help you stay abreast of these trends. Your audience connects with you according to the content that you deliver. Let's look deeper into this. Content builds trust and engages your audience, whether through blogs, videos, or just social posts. It's how you tell your brand story. There are tools that can help you to craft the content of your brand. We'll be focusing more on the graphic and the text, not the video for now. Tools like Canva help you to simplify graphic design and allow you to more easily create a wide variety of graphics. Social BEE uses AI to help you to create higher quality written content. In 2025, AI-generated content is growing, but authenticity remains key. The video SEO and YouTube optimization are becoming increasingly important as user video content continues to dominate internet traffic. Email isn't dead and can still be very helpful in your marketing efforts. Email marketing is a direct, high return on investment way to nurture customer relationships and drive sales. A tool like MailChimp or Brevo helps to create and send email campaigns easily. You could perhaps start with free, what they refer to as lead magnets, like free guides. So these are things that you offer to subscribers just to get them to start looking at your content. And you could use segmentation for personalized emails. Segmentation referring to you don't always send the same thing to everybody. You may have a different message that you send to people who buy X product instead of Y product. Most as email marketing experts can help create campaigns that convert. Social media is by now one of the most popular forms of digital marketing, and it's widely consumed. Social media is where your audience spends time, making it vital for building community and driving traffic. The tool that we've selected is called Buffer. It helps to schedule posts and to provide analytics and stats. With social media platforms becoming entertainment hubs in 2025, it's best to create engaging, shareable content. Kemoso also helps manage social media accounts to help grow your following and engagement, as well as paid ads. It's also very helpful as a small business to have tools that help you to build systems. That is where automation comes in. Automation saves time and ensures consistency. An example of this is if somebody purchases on your online store and then you have automation in place that will automatically send them a welcome email, and perhaps after 1 week automatically send an email asking them how their purchase was. That is an example of automation, but it can cover a wide variety of different functions. The tool that we have earmarked is called Zapier. Zapier connects apps to automate tasks, like adding website leads to your CRM or sending welcome mails. By automating repetitive tasks, you can focus on strategy and creativity. In order to know how well you're doing, it's important to analyze and track where you are quite regularly. Data drives better marketing decisions. This can be in the form of the number of clicks per page or the demographics of your audience. or which pages are more popular on your website. Our recommended tool is called Google Analytics. It helps to track website traffic, user behavior, and conversions for free. It is helpful to focus on metrics like visitor numbers, bounce rates, and conversion rates. Those terms can be a bit tricky, but having an agency like Kemoso will be able to assist navigate those terms and the jargon to help you to make better decisions about what the kind of content that you put up, whether it's working, whether it's not, helping you to measure your marketing efforts. I'll just go over what's been discussed. Okay. So just to recap, we have key tools like Wix and Shopify for websites, Ahrefs for SEO, SocialBee and Canva for content, MailChimp for email, Buffer for social media, and Zapier for automation. Google Analytics 4 for tracking. I would advise you don't have to go all in with the most expensive tools. Start with free or low-cost tools and scale up with professional help as and when you make the leap and grow even more. Start with these tools to build your online presence. And as you grow, partner with Kemoso for expert strategies. Anybody who may be interested in learning a little bit more about some of the free tools, feel free to contact us. Drop us a mail, info@kemoso.com. It is very important, and I know that the dictionary or the textbooks define the main purpose of business as the main purpose of business creating or having a profit. The way that we see things, though, we need to assist each other, and we shouldn't be gatekeepers, and we should be free to share information that may be helpful to the next person, because who knows, we may just end up helping each other in any case. So while we do have very premium services, where we're able to, we also don't mind offering, pointing people in the right direction. So please feel free to make contact, and then as and when we're able to, we will definitely assist. Thank you. That's the end of that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kelebogile.
No problem. So thank you for having us on. We appreciate
absolutely
the platform and the opportunity to share. It's highly appreciated. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate you too, and we will definitely engage with you a little later in the Q&A session. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you.
We now have our next speaker, who is from Zensa, and he is a senior manager at Zensa, Ross Botha. Kelebogile, please can you stop sharing the screen so that we'll be able to see Ross? Thank you. All right. So as mentioned, our next speaker is from Zensa, and he's the senior manager. His name is Ross Botha, and his topic is AI and the future of youth entrepreneurship. And just a little bit about Ross. Ross has spent the past 8 years with Zensa Technologies, where he has led the strategic business alignment and execution for South Africa. With 22 years of industry experience in working for organizations such as Cisco, NTT, and Altron, he has worked in all facets of technology and has been at the forefront of large-scale ICT transformational enterprise programs within the financial, insurance, retail, and government sectors. Currently, his role is centered on advisory and thought leadership, working with digital technology partners like AWS, Microsoft, and Google to drive tangible commercial outcomes for organizations focused on measurable financial growth in their operational sectors. Personally, he is an avid golfer, plays polo, and is a father to a daughter that takes up most of his personal time. Ross, we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, loud and clear.
All right, I've actually done a presentation, which I will share now. Just give me a second while it comes up. Just pop that into presentation mode. I can't see the screen, so is it visible?
Yes, we can see the screen.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
It's on the cover page, AI and automation in South Africa.
Lovely, perfect.
Okay.
Just a word of thanks. Thank you to the team for inviting me on. It's a real privilege to be able to speak to our youth in South Africa. You know, they are the future, and it's a great topic to be discussing. So what I've done is I've done a bit of a presentation to give us a snapshot of the current South African synopsis around AI, what our investments and where our community involvement is. I've then taken a bit of a retro look into some of the industries, our financial, our insurance, and our retail industries, to just illustrate to the audience what are the companies looking at with regards to AI and automation, why are they implementing it, and what features and feature sets are they looking to consume. I've then got a little bit of a case study that I'd like to show the audience. It just illustrates a South African government entity and their journey on AI and what they're looking to achieve, how we constructed it, the technology we used behind it, and what the outcome was. And then part and parcel for this discussion is, if I could reverse the clock and become a young entrepreneur again, is what are the steps I would take to ensure that my business is sustainable and that I have the correct measures in place to ensure that my business can thrive in this economy. So without further ado, let me just pop into the first slide. So when we look at any industry, what is critically important is what are the factors that can determine success. Now, we're lucky in South Africa and we're lucky in Africa in that we have a very young economy. So what does that mean? And how does that pertain to innovation and to technology? Well, if any of you are dads or moms, you'll know that your kids can pick up a cell phone or a tablet and do things that you just don't know how to do. And that's because the younger generations are more adept to technology. They foster, create, and embrace new ideas at a faster rate than any other demographic. This impetus creates new industries. It creates the ways and means to acquire new businesses, develop new opportunities, which all contribute to driving growth. As a sub-creation of that, the execution and creation of these new services and products and these business models increases competition to existing firms. So it creates an environment of innovation and competition, which creates individuality. Our demographic divide in our youth means we have more productive years to fuel growth and income. So what does that mean to the youth and to the young entrepreneurs of South Africa? It means that you have one of the biggest essences of a business success metric, and that is time. You have the ability to augment, to understand, and to foster innovation. Time is your best metric. If we look at the investments per regions, where we certainly work in, specifically around AI and automation, leading is always going to be the United States. They have an industry book value of between $90 and $100 billion. They're the most advanced.
Hi, Ross. Sorry to interrupt you. The slides are not moving. We're still on the cover slide.
Okay.
Okay, now we are on the slide where it says favorable macroeconomic factors of a young economy.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Guess I might have to slip back and go back. So,
thank you.
No problem. Following the US investments in regions is Asia Pacific. And there we're looking at a market cap of between $50 and $60 billion. Following the Asia Pacific regions, we have the Europe. That comes down to around 30 to 40 billion. And this year in forecast for our AI, we're looking at a 2 to 3 billion rand expenditure. Now there's reasons for that, which I'll cover. So don't worry that it's so low. But what we can see at the bottom, in the graph at the bottom, is the expected growth trajectory and the associated technologies that are going to harbor that growth. So what we always like to see in our technology companies and specifically for the youth is that hockey stick, that upward curve. There's a major component if you look at the technologies, if you're young entrepreneurs and you're looking at where do I structure my business, what are the technologies I focus on, what's going to be a harbor of growth for me. Natural language processing, machine learning, AI robotics, and specifically in the mining sector around autonomous and sensor technology are key catalysts that are going to grow. We see that growth going at a CAGR of between 29 and 35% year on year. And we don't know where the projections are going to end after 2030, 2031, because the AI models and the AI algorithms are going to change. They're going to change because communities are going to diversify. Use cases are going to become more advanced, and skill attrition and skill adoption are going to rapidly change. Just moving on to the next slide. Is that visible or not?
Not yet. Yes.
Okay, so
where is industry taking? Is that the one?
That's the one.
Yes.
So what I've chosen here, team, is to just look at 3 distinct industries that I think most consumers work with. That's banking, that's insurance, and that's retail. So what are the key elements that banking is looking at adopting AI? You will see that banks are looking to reduce cost. They're looking to reduce their presence, and they're looking to enable more online functionality. And what that means is increasing customer experience and autonomous interactions. That's giving the user or your consumer the ability to interact with your bank on a mobile platform. Some of us may know, some of us may not, but South Africa is one of the leading geographies in the world for online banking. It was pioneered here with Barclays in the early 2000s. And since then, it's become a norm as to how we transact on our banking services. The banks are also looking at how AI can lead their customer insights. So what I mean by customer insights is every customer has a different profile. Every customer has a different requirement. How can we tailor financial packages to suit individuals to allow them to lead easier, better, more financially free lifestyles? The third area where banks are really looking at AI and certainly generative technologies is fraud detection and online security. And if any of you bank with Standard Bank, I had the misfortune of trying to be conned the other day by a miscreant. And while I was on the phone, my phone app detected that the person was speaking to me from an unregistered number and trying to access my bank account details. Now, that's a very real world scenario as to how AI is defining who you are talking to, who is trying to defraud you, and what security measures need to be in place. And the Standard Bank app told me this is an unregistered number looking to defraud you. Please do not provide any information and terminate the call. So I was very impressed. On the insurance side, and if any of you have followed the Statistics SA's latest predictions and forecasts for South Africa, insurance is starting to increase. It's becoming a premium industry now, and it's starting to contribute to our GDP. And where insurance is starting to look at is how can they drive AI claim processing at a faster rate. And what they're looking at is how we can ingest picture qualities to determine what claim needs to be made and how that claim can be closed autonomously. They're also looking at the personalization of policy administration and identification of client processing. So every person requires insurance at a different sector or a different time. Their portfolios and what they need to insure differ from person to person. So understanding that person's lifestyle, their demographic, and what attributes they require are key to driving insurance policies. There are also big investments at the moment and big discussions around AI bots and assistants for servicing. So instead of waiting for 15, 20 minutes on a call to speak to your insurance company, the AI models now give the user the ability to action what you need done and what you need processed from your insurance portfolio or insurance provider, whether that be insurance premium, a claim, creating a new insurance policy. And they're doing that mainly to retain A, customer service, but B, and most importantly, is clientele. Retail is a very interesting one. You would have seen it if you shop online. There are personalized recommendations and brand accessory suggestions. And this they're based on algorithms, based on how old you are, where you live, what your favorite color is, what you normally buy, and obviously seasonal. They're also investing heavily in consumer behavioral analytics to determine A, the buying patterns, and B, the demographics. So this talks a lot to stock inventory, it talks a lot to supply chain management, and it talks a lot to, well, how can we encourage the consumer to purchase more at a better rate? And you would have seen if you use Shopify or if you use any of the online shopping platforms, you create carts. And that is a seamless checkout inventory management to improve your customer confidence and convenience. So what they're trying to do is ensure that when you need to pay and when you need to remove yourself from your platform, that it's as seamless as possible. Now, there are some key points around South African maturity levels in South Africa, specifically around AI. Within enterprise and the corporate space, the mainstream deployment still sits at a premature state. We're still at the pre-COVID levels around expenditure, post-COVID levels, on expenditure. And a lot of the focus around AI and automation is looked at, well, how can we upskill our youth? How can we upskill our engineers? The focus at the moment on AI deployment remains around AI governance and guardrail establishment. So the ethics around AI. What is AI allowed to do? What is it not allowed to do? And one of the key areas I think that's quite pertinent to this discussion is over the course of the past 2 years, the licensing and production environments of AI is becoming over-commoditized. Now, with such a surge in AI productivity and AI awareness, it's driving down the cost of productionized AI, which means if you look at Microsoft's algorithms, for example, they've had an 80% reduction from last year on their productionized environments, which is great for organizations who are looking to implement AI. But it's a real feather in the cap for young entrepreneurs that are looking to enter the market, because when it comes down to cost, large organizations need to cover their costs, and young entrepreneurs and small organizations just won't have the same cost that enterprise organizations do. Just want to walk you through a bit of a quick case study. And this will show you just how we identified a use case, what we solutioned around it, and the effects that it had. So this was for Statistics SA, and it was enhancing the access to the public data, so government data, the statistical data that we run in our organization, in our country. So their ask was they need to democratize their census data and make it more accessible to the public. And what I mean by that is, instead of the public trawling through piles and piles of leaflets, information, Excel files, PDFs, they needed some avenue to allow the community to ask a question, either written or spoken, and allow them to get the results. So what they wanted to do was include both text and voice. And this aim really was to increase the community usage, investor participation, but also help people who were visually impaired. So their whole mandate was to ensure that people could speak and ask questions to the bot, and it would be able to answer them and give them the information that they've requested. Now, what we did was, there are a lot of dialects in South Africa that the bot has to be trained to. So we trained the bot, and we use that through natural language processing. And what we looked at was the Microsoft side. So what are the Azure's AI capabilities? How could we use AI-infused algorithms and AI-infused technology to establish this and create it? So what we took a look at in working with Microsoft and Statistics SA was the technical aspects around it. And this was the data storage, the data indexing and search, the user interaction, and the future enhancements. So it was a combination of storage requirements, so we could upload all the data and the data could be indexed, as well as combining cognitive thought patterns into the bot, so they could determine what search you are asking for, understand the search, the keywords, and deliver the results in a contextual pattern. So under 5 sentences and as minimalistic as possible. What that allowed us to do is we can now integrate with future data sources within government departments. We can now start to look at how we can enhance analytics and reporting, specifically for investors in South Africa that are looking to understand the demographics of a particular region, or the ability of a community to be able to resolve those issues. We've included multilingual support so that all dialects in South Africa are responsive, whether that is isiZulu, English, Afrikaans, Xhosa, Tswana, whatever it might be. And we've included that on a mobile development platform so that the accessibility on iPad or phone or computer or PC is all available and translatable. What that meant is that the Stats SA could take it to the government and the presidential committee, and it showed that by leveraging AI services, including OpenAI, we could create a user-friendly solution that the community could use, and it solved a real use case. Now, to all you young entrepreneurs out there that are looking at a model and how to build your businesses or how to differentiate yourself in the market, you have to differentiate yourself. It's one of the fastest growing technology sectors globally. So what is key? What are the foundational decisions that are most important to create a success way for you? And that is defining your use case first and foremost. Understanding what use case and the problem that you want to solve is paramount. That differentiates you. It also sets you apart from your competition. Secondly, understand your business model. Do you want to produce AI artwork? Do you want to develop chatbots? Do you want to develop applications with AI costing tools? Do you want to deliver AI services that work with organizations to build their own AI? Or do you want to do what I do and consult and direct organizations to industry-leading AI public providers. But defining your business model sets your parameters as to how you engage and what your value is. Thirdly, please understand your market. Know who you want to sell to and why. It's important because it demarcates your market segment for you. It cuts your competition in half. It allows you to participate in a niche area, and it allows you to streamline your focus and target your market. And most importantly, is invest in skills, whether that be data, machine learning, NLP, depending on which business model you choose, your skill is what sets you apart. Secondly, market yourself. It is by far the most important aspect to building your name, building your reputation, and allowing organizations to identify who you are. We've just had our previous moderator just discussed around the concepts of websites. So it's very apt. It illustrates your capability, your solutions, and your culture. Use things like LinkedIn. It allows you to follow key people in the industry, update your company's success, or work and illustrate any outcomes or broaden your intention that you want the market to know about. Thirdly, have rich content that differentiates you. Show the use cases you've developed, clients you're working with, and most importantly, the outcomes that you've achieved. Networking is key. I've worked in the US, I've worked in the UK, and now I'm working in South Africa. South Africa, by far, is the most relationship-driven economy that I've noticed. People buy from people. So attend industry events. If you have the capacity or the budget or the availability, try and have a booth. Why? Because it gives you direct access to your market. And by giving you direct access to your market, you can communicate with people, and it opens up opportunities. Secondly, include yourself in online forums and communities. Companies invest in communities and forums, and the leading CTOs, CIOs, digital officers, AI forums, AI architects are all present in those communities and those forums. Some of them chair them. Some of them have their own forums and communities that they run. But what they're always looking out for is who can contribute and who is an individual leader. That is key. When you look to commercialize and differentiate, select which organizations you want to work with and literally apply for their SMB vendor contracting to become a sourcing partner. What this does is it gives you access into RFPs or anything that you may feel your identification or your company's presence or strength will serve. It's a great avenue to working with corporate and working in the larger sectors. If you can, partner with AWS, Microsoft, and Google. They're the leading cloud platforms for a reason. Organizations spend hundreds and hundreds of millions of rand on them per year. They invest in their technologies and they use them as a core backbone. Now, what I suggest is use their marketplaces. Every one of these organizations has a marketplace, and this allows customers to view your capability, your culture, your organizations, and it's probably the best pull mechanism for business generation that I've seen. Now, just because you're a small entrepreneur or a small company doesn't mean that you can't work with large enterprise or corporate organizations. What I've seen in the past 6 years is more and more smaller niche companies and boutique shops working with organizations because A, they have a higher skill level, and B, their cost to service is not as high. So you have better margin play and better costing models than your bigger organizations. And lastly, give back to the community. establish training programs if you need to, because it invests in skills. You understand what the community attributes are. And at the end of the day, the youth are the ones that come up with generation of new use cases, because they're at the forefront of what the community is requiring. So that's all from my side. I look forward to any comments or questions, and thank you.
Thank you, Ross. Thank you so much. As with the other speakers, I've got some questions for you, but we'll leave that for very soon. Our next speaker and our last speaker for this session is, I hope I say this name right, but I think he will correct me. Is it Galebo or Galebo, Managing Director, Cecil Tokwane? And his topic is Cyber Smart, keeping your online business safe and secure. And just a bit about Cecil. Cecil Tokwane is a seasoned professional in the ICT space with a BSc in Mathematics and Physics from the University of the Western Cape and a Master's in Business Leadership from UNISA. He began his career as an MVS systems programmer and held senior roles in leading organizations such as the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, IBM, and Dimension Data, where he served as CTO for the Middle East and Africa. In 2009, he founded Galebo Professional Services, specializing in system integration, cybersecurity, cloud services, and smart technologies. Cecil also leads the Galebo group of companies with interests in property, capital raising, and commodities. He has served in governance roles at UNISA and currently chairs the UNISA SBL Alumni Executive Committee. Thanks, Cecil. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Good afternoon, Alele. Thanks for that intro. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Perfect.
Very clear picture, and you're very audible.
Okay, thank you for that. Thanks for that introduction, and thanks for having me. As you said, I'm the founder and managing director of Galebo Professional Services. We're a system integrator. We've been running for 16 years now, with a focus on cybersecurity as well as cloud solutions. As a previous speaker, as I mentioned, and as you've heard, technology is moving at a very fast pace. I mean, 10 years ago, we used to talk about Moore's Law, where the computing power of a chip would double every 3 months. However, as we've seen with the advent of AI, that the rapid change happens that literally on a daily basis, probably on an hourly basis. So I prepared a presentation to share. I'm just going to share my screen and go through the presentation. And our focus is really to talk about cybersecurity as it relates to small and digital enterprises, SMEs, which is one of our core focus areas. As we all know, cyber attackers, the cyber landscape doesn't matter whether you're small or you're large, wherever you are in the world. I remember the term that was coined during the global property crisis, the crash in 2008. There was a term that they used that was called too big to fail. And a lot of companies, I know in SA, have learned the hard way that they thought that they were too small to be affected by any cyber threats, any cyber attacks. But alas, unfortunately, that hasn't been the case. So if you give me a few secs, I'll start my presentation. Can everyone see my screen?
It says you have started screen sharing.
Hold on a sec for me, please. Okay.
Right, we have it.
Now you can see my presentation.
Yes, Cyber Smart, keeping your online business safe and secure with a green background.
Perfect. I'm just going into presentation mode. The previous speakers have touched on quite a lot of what's happening, and that's affecting up and coming entities globally, not just in South Africa, and found it very interesting. And also I've been learning quite a bit. Nobody stops learning, especially in this fast-paced digital industry. So what I'm going to touch on today, and I think it ties nicely with the previous speakers, which really is about cybersecurity. You know, as the cyber threat, the cyber landscape has been rapidly changing from 20 years ago, where it was, you know, you'd go to your office, you'd log into the network, and then, you know, perimeter protection was sufficient. If you look at the basic description of what cybersecurity, computer networks, programs, data from unauthorized access, any damage, and the previous speaker, for example, spoke about one of the financial institutions. You know, so cybersecurity entails, you know, multiple layers of protection. It involves technologies, processes, policies, everything across the board, and it keeps on changing. Like I think it's just a speaker who spoke just now spoke about AI, about digitization. So any advancement that you see in the digital space, it means that the threat landscape increases in tandem with it. So, you know, why is cybersecurity important? Because in the digital world, in the knowledge economy, we're dealing with sensitive data. You've got to keep operations going. There's cybercrime across the board. There's deepfake. There's the usage of AI as a tool for cyber attacks. Brand reputation, compliance, regulation. The list just goes on. And in my mind, it doesn't really matter whether you're a large enterprise or you're a startup. The risks are still the same. We've seen, for example, in South Africa, where, you know, the legal society at some point had stopped paying out claims to legal entities because there were so many cyber attacks. And these entities saw themselves as being too small or too unimportant. And unfortunately, they found the hard way that, you know, they just as affected. So if we look at startups and what they have to go through currently, and I mean the list is quite long. There's limited resources to start with, not just from an IT perspective. Things like access to finance, access to markets, you know, there's fierce competition, you know, all the data that's available is currently there. So everybody can start an e-commerce business, everybody can start an online business, everybody can launch a product. So there's limited resources, fierce competition. We've seen that not only with small entities, that cyber security is not prioritized. I've already mentioned this, thinking that they're too small. And everyone is a prime target for cyber criminals. You know, Gimoso was talking about how new entities can use technology to expand their market outreach. And each of those then presents an opportunity to actually, expose the entity to cyber criminals. And so with limited resources, cybersecurity seems to be downplayed as not being a priority, and yet it should be at the forefront of priorities. So if we look at the kind of threats, I was listening to, I was in a webinar yesterday, these threats are increasing, getting more sophisticated every day. The threat actors are just like everybody on this call. They don't sit around and hide. They strategize. They look at what's the easiest way. They map their capabilities to the threats that are, or the tools that are being put out there. And so if we look at the type of threats, we're looking at phishing attacks. I think somebody mentioned it, especially with banking, data breaches, where access to sensitive data or any kind of data, which is currency. We've seen data breaches of crypto currency entities, for example. We've seen data breaches of entities such as credit bureaus here in South Africa, where prominent data was leaked out. We've seen account takeovers, social media and website hijacking, and the list is there. I'm not going to go through all of them. But what I'd like to say is that, for example, when I started, I mentioned, access to finance, access to any entity requires those things. At the end of the day, nobody wants to experience financial loss or reputational damage, or have your operations disrupted, or violating any legal and regulatory statutes, loss of customers due to one or all of the above that I've mentioned, strategic setbacks, bankruptcy. These are all real threats that exist, and the more we globalize, the more business, financial services, the way that we consume services becomes all automated, digitized. The more with modernization, yes, it presents opportunities. However, your risk also increases. So these are the kind of impacts that we foresee as being there for small entities, for digital startups. So what should these entities do? So you can start with your low-cost tools. You can acquire an antivirus solution, firewalls, VPN, password managers. You can start with those, acquire those online. There are quite a number of providers out there, but that's not sufficient. Hence, if you see large enterprises have multiple layers of security, you can start by implementing essential security practices. So, the human element still remains one of the weakest points. So practices are critical. Multi-factor authentication, backups. We've seen a lot of malware attacks of some very large institutions whereby they didn't have backups. And so ended up having to cough up whatever amount of Bitcoins that they were held ransom to. They had to cough up. So data backups ensure that you are able to roll back when you do when they do have a breach. Software updates, constant software updates. I mean, OEMs are constantly issuing updates, patches, especially for zero-day attacks. And then secure online transactions. I think last week I saw an article, 36 billion, just on banking fraud. that was issued by one of the financial institutions. And, you know, we used to use internet banking. Now we're using apps. We're using all sorts of digital entry points. So if you look at cyber attacks in the priority list, financial institutions and anything financial probably is the number one attack vector, because it's obvious. It's about the money. And then training your employees and awareness. Awareness is also about making employees aware as to why must you not click on that link? Why must you not click on that WhatsApp link that says you're gonna get a free voucher? It's even getting worse with deepfake, where, for example, I've seen a rise in AI, cyber attacks, where, for example, my voice can be taken and then used to contact my employees, making them believe that you know, they can share sensitive client data, they can make payments. So that's where it is now. So it's even gone beyond browsing practices, password security. Now we're faced with the challenge of AI based cyber attacks. Planning and prioritization, always conduct risk assessments, have an incident response plan. I mean, what happens when there's an attack? What happens within any entity? Who do you call? Who contacts clients, stakeholders, to let them know that you've had a breach, and so on and so forth. So it's not just about the technology, it's about governance and you know, having a plan, doing dry runs about your incident response, having an incident response plan. And then if obviously there's budgetary issues, there's all around budgetary challenges. So the other thing that we're pushing is managed security services, because besides what I've said earlier, where you can acquire all these wonderful tools, you still would need this the engineers that are trained, that are accredited, that would acquire, install, deploy, do the maintenance and support. So a managed security service, for example, that's what we're providing to our clients, is you know, providing a hosted service where, for example, you can have email security, threat intelligence, digital risk protection, all bundled into a product that suits any individual entity, and so that the startup or the entity can focus on its core business. Because remember, it's not just about the technology, you've got to hire the people now. And you can't be hiring specialists, you've got to train them, you've got to keep them abreast of the latest in tech. So we provide those managed security services. And also, as Ross just said, you've got to, you know, stay abreast of the latest in cybersecurity news. Stay in touch with us, because this is what we do. This is our focus area. We, you know, our partnerships, our accreditations are with all of the leading OEM cybersecurity technology manufacturers. And so we have access to the latest in threat intelligence, you know, the latest in the type of attacks, the landscape, how the landscape is changing and is constantly changing. And also, you know, providing, like I said, we do things like training, awareness. So essentially, looking at what your needs are, the size, the type of business that you do, and from there, you know, get a managed service and then advise as to what is best practice. As I'm about to finish my presentation, some of what I've said is already redundant, because there's probably a new threat out there. There are new threat actors. So it's an ongoing journey, and it's about staying abreast, always staying, looking, accessing the resources that are available out there. So that would be where I would end now. I could go on and on. There's so much out there in terms of, the cyber threat landscape, the players, the solutions. It really is something that is constantly changing and is going to constantly change for the foreseeable to long-term future. So thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I hope that was worthwhile. I'm going to stop right there. Over to you, Anele.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cecil. We are now in our Q&A session, and if you have any questions, please use the Q&A section or the chat section to send your questions to us, or if you can raise your hand and then we will get you to ask your question or share your comment, and please say who your question is for. If it is for all the speakers, please also let us know of that. Just to kickstart off this question session, I have a question for each of the speakers, and I will start with Richard. So Richard, I've got actually two questions for you, but they're interlinked. So the first part is, what helped you as a young entrepreneur to persevere, especially in the research and development phase, in the world where when you start a business, you want instant gratification, you want to make money now, you want your business to be known now? Because I think you mentioned that there's about 6 to 8 years that you spent just in the R&D phase. So what helped you persevere through that? And part of that question is, how would you encourage a young entrepreneur to invest in the R&D phase before launching their business or going to market? So that is Richard's question. And then for Kelebogile, in a world where, social media is the go-to for digital marketing, how can you encourage entrepreneurs, especially young entrepreneurs, to use email marketing? Because you did mention that email marketing is not dead, but I don't know how many young entrepreneurs actually use it. So how would you encourage someone who maybe comes to you for advice or for your services to say, let's not only look at the social media aspects, let's also look at how we can use email marketing, besides the website as well, all the other digital marketing tools to actually advance the promotion and branding of an organization? And does every business need digital marketing? So does every business need digital marketing? And then Ross, your question is, this is just based on, when people talk about using AI, people use AI for everything now, especially, your chat GPTs and all that. So should every business use AI, and how much of it should they use in their operations? Because it seems like even when people are writing captions for their social media platforms, that's what they use. So is it something that every business should incorporate, and how much of it should they use it for everything? Or you need to be discerning in terms of, we'll use it for specific operations, maybe marketing and things like that. And then Cecil, a similar question to what I'm asking Ross, it's more on the cybersecurity. You did end off by saying, depending on your business and what you'll need, you can maybe tailor make a service for them. But do we need cybersecurity or to be cyber secure when we have maybe been operating for a longer period, or you need it immediately when you start your business or when you start having maybe a website and your online presence? When do you know that you now need to make sure that your cybersecurity is in place? So I would like Richard to please go first. We can go into that in the order of how we had spoken. So if Richard can please answer the questions that I asked him, and once the speakers have each answered the questions that I've posed to them, we'll then go into the questions that our audience has.
Thank you so much, Anele. Should I turn on the video again?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you so much. Wow, great speakers. Thank you very much, guys. I learned a lot. I've been taking notes and trying to learn as much as possible. So what really helped me to persevere is it's purpose and vision. If you have a clear vision of what you want and you know exactly what you want to achieve, I don't think anything else can come in the way. Remember, NXI is not just a business, but it's a mission to uplift Africa through technology. But also the support system. I'm married with 3 kids. So the kind of partner that you spend your life with, and my mentors as well. I spent some time in the US as well. I used to attend seminars of Les Brown. I'm also part of Les Brown Academy. Co-authored some of the books that were written to Les Brown. One of them, which is Les Brown Changed My Life. So you always, motivation it's something that you don't actually. It doesn't come automatically. It doesn't come by default. It's something that you intentionally have to, what you listen to, you always fuel. It helps you to move forward. And I'm a very spiritual person. I believe that where there's a will, there's a way. I believe that we always put God in everything that we do. We always put God in. We put God first. In the morning when we get to the office, we've got quite a spacious office here, and quite a big team. In the morning we get here, the first thing that we do, we pray. But knowing that what you are doing is not only for you, it's for a greater deal, and there's a whole lot of people that depend on it. I don't think you even have a choice to give up. So great things take time. There's no instant gratification. Unfortunately, people want instant gratification. Social media, it makes you want to get things quicker so that you can impress. But that's not how we view life. That's not our perspective in life. We understand that great things take time. We are still in progress. We are still in the making. But purpose, clear vision of what you want, have strong faith, believe in your dream, and know that put God first, obviously, but know that obstacles are not there to stop you, but to perhaps strengthen you as well. I hope that really answers the question.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. Especially the part where you say great things take time, because a lot of the times you may start a business today and you're hoping in 2 months or 3 months, you're already making a killing of it, but you haven't actually put in the time and the preparation to get your business going. Can I ask Kelebogile, please, to answer the next question? Thanks, Richard. You can turn your camera off.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks again to the other panelists. So far, it's been very interesting and very, like a lot of knowledge on here. So thank you for everyone. So if I had to answer the question, how would I convince a young entrepreneur to consider email marketing more than just social media? While your social media presence is a powerful starting point, it's important to think bigger. Think of social media as a flashy shop window of your business. It will attract attention and bring people in. But what happens when they're in? How do you turn a casual follower into like a loyal customer who comes back over and over? That's where other digital marketing tools, especially the unsung hero of email of digital marketing, which is email marketing. Relying solely on social media might be problematic in the long term. If you do a search across many different sources about the return on investment of email marketing versus social media marketing, you will find that consistently a lot of sources will let you know that email marketing really holds true. It is able to, bring people back over and over. It allows people to look at things in their own time. They don't have to be at a certain point, at a certain day, or a certain point in your feed to be able to see what it is that you are, selling. It's good to be able to use a wide variety of things to get people to notice you and then to consider you, and then to finally make the decision to purchase from you. So that's when other things like SEO will come into play. If I'm selling sneakers in Edenvale, SEO will help people who search for cool sneakers around Edenvale. Will give me the possibility of at least being noticed. So that is how I would answer the question about why to consider other things other than just social media. It is part of a solid long-term strategy to include other elements, and it does. It's been proven time and time again to give you a little bit more return on investment. And then when it comes to if I would recommend digital marketing for all businesses, I'd say yes. One of the cornerstones of business, even for people who are familiar with business plans, the business plan, as I was taught, comprises of the operational plan, the financial plan, and the marketing plan. Marketing is a huge part of business. So to disregard digital marketing would be a mistake, because the return on investment for digital marketing has been shown over and over again to be a lot higher than with traditional marketing. Cast your mind back to 90s, early 2000s, when people were still more watching TV or listening to radio. You would have a blanket ad. It doesn't matter if they are advertising a car, a flashy car. It doesn't matter if I'm in the target market or if my grandmother is. It's just a blanket, like throwing out like a net and just hoping that somewhere in there, my target audience will see what I'm sending and will respond. Now with digital marketing, what you can do is you're able to actually target the people. I'm actually able, using search engine optimization, try and help me find people who are searching for sneakers in Edenvale. I can perhaps using paid advertising, target a specific set of people. I would like people that are between the ages of 18, or let's say I want first working age, 18 to 20, up to 35, from the area of Edenvale, of a certain demographic, to see this ad. And the way that what that happens is you end up targeting a lot more of the people that you are actually after. So I would say digital marketing is incredibly powerful, and it would really be a mistake to not consider it at all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ross, please, can you answer your question?
Thanks, Naomi. So I think the question is quite self-intuitive. Every organization now is looking at AI, whether they should or not. I think there's certainly a consensus in the market at the moment, is given the productivity gains and given the right placement of AI, a lot of organizations are feeling that, well, if we don't implement AI, then we're going to be losing out. So that's where their focus is. The key differentiator for them is how do they apply AI and where do they use it? So you pointed to a bit of it in your second question. I feel that might be a bit loaded because, AI is going to be probably implemented in areas, specifically agentic AI is going to be implemented in areas where it can facilitate people's functions and people's ability to function or what their roles are in the organization. So it's not the be all and end all. A lot of organizations now are looking at where AI ops, for an example, can play a significant role. Specifically the larger organizations that want to get to incidents that are reducing their networks or their ability to function, and they're looking at AI as to how they can autonomously solve those issues. They're also looking at better structures within how AI can be more productive for their workforce. So instead of having to duplicate manual tasks, can an AI algorithm or an AI model be cultivated to provide the data and the context to the people that are working in those organizations to make them more productive so that they can then spend their time on what organizations call profitable business or profitable decision making. So, I think the inclusion of AI is a necessity for organizations now. It's certainly the way that the tech world is looking at advancements, and AI is being used as an arrowhead to achieve prosperity and progress and productivity. But again, it's where you use AI, how you define the use case of what it's going to achieve, and ensure that you manage the outcome effectively, because that's really, really critical to determine the success. Do I think AI is ever going to replace people? No, because people build AI. Do I think it's going to shape the job segment in South Africa? Absolutely. Do I think it's going to decrease jobs in South Africa? I think initially, possibly, but not long term. Because with the advent of a new technology, there comes a new skill demographic that's required in order to manage, maintain, and run that. And I think that's where the new skills and the new jobs for the future will be pointed at. So for the youth, I think if they can take a very proactive view as to what AI enables, how you can service AI, how you can support AI, and how you can develop AI, I think they have a very, very productive and very, very important role to play in the South African growth.
Thank you, Ross. Cecil, please can you answer your question? We have questions coming in from the audience as well. So after Cecil answers, I'll then read those questions out.
Okay, so multitasking is not an art of mine. So look, I mean, like I said earlier, no entity is too small. The bottom line is that any business exists to make sales and for the flow of information between different stakeholders. So even if you're starting out, you are a target. You're running a business, you've got data. Sometimes you're the custodian of your client data. You're the custodian of sensitive data. You transact, you bank, you go and your business exists digitally. So you've got digital presence, meaning that your brand, your logo can be replicated. Fake websites can be created in the dark web and used as honeypots to lure people into fraud transactions. You as a business owner, as I said, deepfake can be created, again, to use for any means, whether it's fraud, email fraud. You've seen many cases people saying, oh, my Facebook account has been hacked. Please don't send money. So the list is endless. The gist of the matter is that, as all the speakers have just mentioned, you need digital presence. You need to reach out to your clients across different platforms. You need to collect money from your sales. You need to communicate with all your stakeholders in whatever format. So my take is that it doesn't matter what business you're in. I gave the examples of the lawyers, one or two that I know, the server sitting next to the coffee machine, because they think, oh, why would I be a target? But if you think about their business's client information, it's money from conveyancing, customer money. So all that attackers had to do was to hack their emails, get a hold of their logo, and then send out fake, and then just change their banking details. So then if you're selling a house or buying a house, you receive a letter from your lawyer, your conveyancing lawyer, for example, and then says, oh, banking details have changed. You pay that money, and then your lawyer phones you for 2 weeks' time and says, hey, I'm still waiting, and it's gone. That's just one example. Keeping your company and personal information secure. I don't know if anybody has ever been a victim of identity theft, whereby your details can be used fraudulently to go and make acquisitions and mess up your credit line. So in a nutshell, everybody needs some sort of protection, and then it'll evolve over time. So if you're starting up as a small entity, you will need probably email protection, probably this digital risk protection. And then once you start, dealing with or collecting your client data, you build your database of customers, and then that the information between you and your customers can be diverted. Suddenly you start losing money, you start losing customers, you have to be recovering. You need to have some sort of awareness with your staff, and constant reminders about how to safeguard data. You need to build systems and processes about keeping the data safe. What happens after you work with the data? So I could go on and on, but I think I've covered everything. And I mean, a typical example, we've seen examples where large organizations, they've got everything, systems, data, but then somebody within the organization decides, oh, we're going to install CCTV cameras. Now those are all IP points. That's an entry point into the network. So everybody needs cybersecurity. And from there, what you can do, you start off with what you need. That's what I mentioned, that we can then look at your environment, assess how many endpoints you have, et cetera. What is it that you do? And then from there, say, these are the weak points, and tailor a solution that will then be sort of like a managed service. So you don't have to go buy any hardware, any software. We provide that service to you on a contract basis. The same way that you for example, your cell phone contract or that type of thing. So I hope that answers that question.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much. I am going to read the questions in the Q&A section. So there is a question from Kopano to Kelebogile. Thanks for the various apps and tools that you shared. However, for ease and streamlining operations, if you could limit it to the max 3 apps or tools that provide more comprehensive support, which 3 tools would you suggest businesses start with? So that's for you, Kelebogile. You can start thinking about that. And then The next question is from Anonymous, and it's to all speakers. How do youth and career changes join your company or industry without spending large sums on degrees? So I think this question means, how can people join your companies maybe as an internship or job seeking, job shadowing, without spending sums on degrees? And then the next question is for the Proudly South African team. Proudly South Africa, will there be a recording available of this informative webinar, and how can attendees access it? And another question for Kelebogile, how do I ethically build an email marketing list? So I think, because there were very specific questions to Kelebogile, let me get him to answer first. And then this is recorded. So I think Monique will let us know at the end how the recording can be accessed. After that, then I'll let the other speakers answer, but let's Kelebogile answer.
Great, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity once again. So if I had to distill it down to the minimum number of tools, let's say 3, what I would suggest would be definitely one of the AI tools. Can be Gemini from Google, can be ChatGPT from OpenAI. It would act as a way of allowing you to, one, create or at least craft website copy as well as social media captions. If you are unsure about how to phrase something and want to portray the best possible voice, then that is perhaps a tool that I would suggest. With the paid versions, and I'm not sure to what extent the free versions, I think you are able to some degree, also start creating websites. Although the problem with those ones is they wouldn't have a page builder, and you would need some websites development expertise to be able to transfer the files to your server. But I definitely would say ChatGPT or Gemini, I think, would be very helpful. Then another one that I would definitely recommend would be Canva. Canva can be very helpful for somebody to create graphics. I think perhaps also video, depending on the package that you get. So I think that those would definitely be very, very helpful. I would also, as a third option, I would say perhaps email marketing would also be high up there, Brevo or Canva. I mean, Brevo or MailChimp. Then as it pertains to, sorry, the other question was, how do youth and career changes join your company or industry without spending large sums on degrees? You know, the industry that we're in is ever changing all the time. And it matters a lot more now about what you can do versus the degrees that one may have. So what I would suggest is learn. Check your channels. Be free to use TikTok, Instagram, social media, but try and switch on to channels that teach you about the subject that you're interested in. If it's website development, you know, learn more. There's so many people giving out free information all the time. Take time to listen to them, to review them, to practice. They're free tutorials. There are things like Coursera that you can actually buy courses and teach yourself how to code or how to do social media management. And then once you start having the basics, then I would suggest start fine-tuning your skills by offering those services on a smaller scale to people around you. Then there's less pressure on you, but you're able to then start learning a little bit more, but now in the field. And as you start developing and developing experience, then it becomes easier to then approach a company like Kimoso and say, hey, listen, I have so many certificates where I've learned ABC. I have even, started doing this out in the field. This is what I've done. These are the results that I've achieved. And I think being able to do that will really give you a good leg up and a good opportunity to be part of a company without necessarily having had to go to school to learn that. And then the other question is, how do I ethically build an email marketing list? The answer I would have is slow and steady. There are certain things that need to be, considered. As a matter of fact, you need to get explicit consent. So you don't just add people to an email list without asking them to join and allowing them to opt in double. We have what is known as a POPIA Act, the Protection of Personal Information Act. And that act protects the rights of people to not necessarily be added to a list that they're not aware of. I just touched it now, using a double opt-in. What that means is, if I ask you to sign on to my newsletter, then you would sign in. Then I will ask you again once I've gotten your email and I know it's the correct one to say, please confirm that you're sure that you want to, be a part of my newsletter. Then that will definitely make sure that ethically you're in the clear, because you know that you've, asked or made sure that somebody wants to be part of your email list. Don't buy email lists. A lot of people sometimes can sell lists, which can be problematic for the people who find themselves receiving unsolicited emails. One of the other things you could do is to offer value in exchange for someone signing up. Provide a genuine incentive, otherwise known as a lead magnet. So for instance, you could offer a discount on a new purchase, on a first purchase rather. Perhaps a freestyle guide, a helpful checklist, a downloadable recipe, whatever the case is. Anything that you could say, please sign up. For signing up as a thank you, I can provide this. Place your forms strategically. Place your forms in places where it's easy for people to be able to sign up. Homepage, contact, footer. Every now and again, perhaps also on social media, remind people, be able to sign in. If you sign in, perhaps we can assist with this, that, or the other. So that then means you'll be leveraging like your social media then to just allow them to do that. Also, one of the last things is use an email platform like the ones that I've suggested. There's a lot more platforms than just MailChimp or Brevo, but using those kind of platforms allows people to opt out easily. And I think that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can I just get the other speakers to answer the question that was asked, but also just to give literally like 30 seconds of closing remarks, because we've just gone over our time by 4 minutes, but I do want them to have an opportunity to answer that question and also just to share last remarks with each of us. Can we start with you, Cecil, this time?
You say with me, Anele? Lou?
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, I think some of that has been covered. Look, I mean, my belief is that if you have the right aptitude and attitude, there's always room for growth. If I look at some of our we started off as junior engineers. They came in with minimal IT qualifications, not even degrees, and they are flying. They knuckled down. They worked hard, and they had the right attitude and aptitude. So I think what we've seen is that the tech is changing so much, and if you have a basic IT foundation, then you should you should be able to thrive. And I mean, also, if I look at the staff complement here, it's a mishmash. A lot of even my managers don't even come from an IT background. So it's really about applying yourself. It's really about understanding the market, and then continuous education. There's since COVID, there are tons and tons of free webinars. You'd be drowning in the stuff. So that's my 2 cents. So in closing, thanks for the opportunity. I hope that we could add value, and I'm happy to engage with all the attendees. And also thanks to the other presenters. I've learned quite a lot, and I foresee a lot of collaboration going forwards. And thank you to Proudly South Africa for this year. I think it's a worthwhile event, and I would say, kudos to you. Go ahead with many more. Thanks, Anele. Keep well. And thanks
Thank you
everyone
so
else.
much. Thank you, Cecil. Ross, can we move on to you, please?
Yeah, sure. And then, look, I echo what Cecil said. When it looks to youth employment, it really is character and aptitude that really do count. We take on a lot of graduates. In fact, we've employed just over 1,200 graduates in the past 10 years. And, they do come in with a variation and a varying degree skill level, from university degrees to not. But one of the key aspects that we always look out for is, how confident are they? What is their character like? How's their culture? Will it assimilate with what the chosen path that they've selected? And we work with our young people. It's very key, and it's a key attribute that we map our youth and their characteristic with what their desired program or what their desired tech training will be, because it's important. It's important that they're enthusiastic. It's important that they want to achieve. It's important that they want to learn. So, are technicalities and technical certifications the be all and end all? No, but they are important, because what it does stimulate and what it does show a potential employer is that you've taken the time to take a particular course and you followed through with it. So it shows a degree of tenacity. But more importantly, it's about how you represent yourself when you're in person, and how you convey what your feelings, thoughts, and aspirations are. Those are the key attributes I certainly look out for when I'm looking at our graduates and our internships, because there's a lot of talent out there, but we've got to direct that talent to where they're going to be successful. And in closing, echo again what Cecil said, and thank you to all the other participants and panelists. It's been a great exercise today. I think this is a very, very worthy cause. Someone's got to pick up the mantle as to how to educate our youth and how to streamline them and how to drive them to success. So this is a great platform on which to broadcast. And I hope that our attendees have learned something, and I hope that they can put it into practicality, because there's a lot of experience on call and we've made the mistakes. So learn from us, don't make the same mistakes, and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We definitely have learned a lot. Richard?
Thank you so much, Anele. Yes, I've learned a lot as well. Well, my message to the entrepreneurs out there is that they must keep going, stay grounded, and really never underestimate the small start, never underestimate the small beginnings. I think NXI, it's a clear sign that anything is possible. If we can do it, I'm sure they can also do it. If I can do it, I'm sure everyone else can do it. So just stay grounded and keep on believing it's possible. Today, South Africa, it's better than it was yesterday, and it keeps on getting better on a daily basis. Keep on equipping yourself with information, with knowledge. So many platforms that you can learn from. Just be a lifelong learner, keep on learning, and stay humble, stay grounded. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Thank you to all our speakers. I've certainly learned a lot, and I think a lot of people also have learned a lot from today. The question that was around the recording, it will be on Proudly South African's YouTube page, so you can watch the full recording there. Please share it as well, because there were a lot of everything. Every speaker, what they shared is actually going to help a young person's business, or any business actually for that matter. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for listening in. And I wish you all the best in your businesses as we buy local to create more jobs. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye. Thanks for everything.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye.